Blue Kool-Aid drinkers! We are back, baby. We are back, and we are getting ready to talk about the Lions. Early start to training camp here. So on this episode, we're going to be breaking down all the latest news, and then who are the people that are looking good in camp, some of the people that are concerning us, and then just talk about a couple battles that have caught our eye. But before we get into all of that, we first have to introduce the Blue Kool-Aid crew that is here. I am Big Z. Let's get to the rest. We got UJ.
Hey, everybody.
And Ruddog.
Yo.
All right, so gentlemen, we are recording this at the very last day of July, which means the season is gearing up to be right around the corner. We're 8 days away from the first preseason game, a month and 8 days away from the first game of the NFL season at home, hosting the Rams, a rematch of the playoffs. Stafford coming back again. But anyways,
he will be
before we get all that, we do have some news things we want to talk about and the impact of this news. Minor news: Natane Mutai, a backup guard, he was battling for end of the roster, injured, probably out for the year. And the Lions went and signed offensive lineman from the UFL by the name of Jake Burton. From the Michigan Panthers, so another Michigan Panthers guy. Now, I don't know if he's likely to make the roster or not. He played in 11 games for them, but I did want to note that.
Oh, it's Jack Burton. My bad.
Jack Burton, yeah. I wonder if he's related to Michael Burton, the former fullback of the Lions. But the bigger news, of course, is John Cominsky, one of our favorite players.
Yes,
tearing his MCL. Yep. And likely out for the regular season with a possibility of coming back for the playoffs.
You know what, though? This could be like a low-key blessing for him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like he was fringe this year, man. Like, I don't know how core he was. Do you think he was core? You think he's just a guy? Like, they're just going to carry him, even if his performance was like it was last year, kind of lackluster? Like, I feel like we have a deeper competition this year. I don't think he had to really step up this year to prove he belonged. I still felt.
I never Ruddog coming in throwing heat at Cominsky.
No heat. I'm saying what it does though is allows you to put him on IR, and then maybe when we're getting towards playoff times and he's finally getting better and getting back to it, we'll see where we're at, and he can be like a boon to us down the stretch or something. That's all.
Yeah, well, do you agree with Ruddog that Cominsky was
a little? Not. I don't believe it's a blessing in any way, but however. Cominsky was, according to Ruddog, which I agree, from everything I've read, he's been repping with the third team and stuff, and the competition is a lot better this year. I mean, getting Reader there, and with Onwuzurike apparently doing what they all thought he could do in the beginning, it's going to be a really tough battle. But he's a great player. The commission's been a really good player the last 2 years for the Lions, and he's a solid piece. I hate to see him get hurt. Because I would like to see him make the roster, even if he was a reserve and filled in a few plays a game, whatever. But
right, there's going to be injuries. I think he's a key depth piece that we're losing here for sure.
Exactly.
Especially because it could play outside in like a 5 technique or inside, more 5 like against the run.
How many guys do we have that have that like kind of same versatility profile? Like. We have multiple guys who are going to rotate from edge down in or to tackle out to edge and like be able to do a little bit of both. I'm just saying it's getting crowded. I really was pulling for it. I'm just trying to see a silver lining here. I'm bummed for the guy. Don't get me wrong. I thought he was going to step up and prove that he belongs on this roster. Like, this sucks. I'm just trying to be positive. He'll still be on the team, and it does open roster and opportunity for other guys. If they keep him on IR, that's all. I mean, it's just like we don't have to lose them in cut time. That's all. That's where I'm just trying to be optimistic, gents.
Okay. Well, from that point of view, I see what you're saying, but it's still a bummer he got hurt.
Absolutely. That sucks.
I mean, with his injury, who does it open up a spot to that it otherwise would have gone to Cominsky?
I mean, like Wingo already. Like I don't know. Like I know. Like we wanted to say he's guaranteed to this roster, but I don't think he was. Like, you want to keep a draft pick on, but, like...
Wingo's on the roster.
I mean, but, like, guys like him, like, whoever's competing for that back end of, like, the D-line, like, roster is who he was competing with, like Wingo, guys like Betts.
I think Betts it helps the most.
Yeah,
it helps
Betts
him the most.
It makes room for. Who else do we got out there? I mean, I feel like we got more. I mean, Onwuzurike, Pascal, all of them. Anyone who's in competition for that depth chart, it makes room for one more man. That's all. I don't know where that structure is or where that rank is to the Lions coaches right now, but whoever's at that back end especially just got a little bit of extra help to stick around for a little while longer anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we think Betts just because it's another white D lineman that's versatile.
I think he's got potential. He's just like he's got to show he can translate to the NFL. Like it's like he put up nice numbers there, but like that's competition level is just not comparable. Even like almost like most of our college, like the higher end college teams here. So I want to see him succeed. That'd be cool. But the Sam role might be a better home for him there though too. Even. I think UJ said he was repping there. No.
Yeah, I've read where he's repping there, and they're throwing a lot at him because they want him to play the Sam too, and he's struggling a bit. It's a lot. They're just throwing a lot on his plate. So they're according to Camel, they're going to take a little stuff off his plate to make things a little easier for him to get him back in stride again, get his confidence up. But they say he's working his ass off and trying. So take it for what it's worth. He's working hard, and we'll see. I don't know.
I think he's going to have to show his ability to get to the passer. That's his way to the roster. I mean, unless he's just suddenly like a dynamic, linebacker and can drop into coverage and do all that, which a guy his size don't. They're not all Jack Campbell. And so, like, he's got to show he can get to the QB at this level, I think, to make this roster. But if he can add that linebacker role, that will help him.
I want to throw something in there that Campbell said in his press conference, though.
Ooh, go ahead. Mix it in there.
Yeah. I thought this was really kind of shows the depth of Campbell's thinking, too. When people think he's a goon, I mean, this guy's a smart guy. And he says,
I think it's well established now.
When he was talking about Betts, though, he says why they're trying to throw all this stuff at him. He says, because, we don't need a one-trick pony. We need versatile players. Like, he says, I don't think of just the 53-man roster. I think about the 46, the guys who are going to be there on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's thinking about. And those guys have to be able to do multiple things. They can't just be one, have one trick in their bag.
Well, especially
go ahead.
Especially a guy like Betts, UJ, because he's end of the roster. He's probably going to fill in if somebody goes down. So he has to be ready for whoever goes down at whatever position.
Think about it this way. When Houston came off that crazy rookie season where he put up all those sacks in that short period of time, and they still put pressure on him to learn linebacker in his second season. Like, remember
they
that
still
was
are, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's right in that same exact position. Like, they need these guys to be able to do more than just get after. Actually, here's the thing. I don't think if, like, say Houston just shows that knack to get to the quarterback, they'll make room for him on the roster, but they'll keep trying to get him to develop to that side. But they might just cry mercy eventually if he's just that good at getting to the quarterback and say, do that. But you got to be that good. And that's the thing. They're going to try to expand his skill set if possible. In the meantime, he's got to, at least do his expertise, his specialty to the max, and that's what he's got to do. But, it helps if he can pick up the other skills. Then he'll just be that much more dynamic. Oh, God. If Houston picks up the linebacker skills, look out, NFL. Look out. That guy is going to be a menace to the league. Really will be Houston. We have a problem. Oh, man. I can't wait to see him get back into the game plan again.
I'm going to throw cold water on that guy. He's getting too excited.
I'll dodge it. I'm too excited.
All right, so let me move on to another piece of news before we get into the training camp of it all. Taylor Decker got a 3-year, $60 million extension, so $20 million more a year for Taylor Decker. So congratulations to him. I mean, he deserves it, especially the way tackles are getting paid around the league. He's played up to it, especially in this system. Do you guys have any problems with the extension? Doesn't seem like it.
Zero.
The opposite of the problem.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the team. According to him, he's hitting his prime right now. So, and I believe it. He's just playing great football. And I think they were waiting a little bit to see how his injuries, his surgeries were. I think he had something kind of procedure after the season, but apparently he's good to go. Everything's A-okay. And this line is so dynamic, and he's a big part of it.
Yes.
So, I'm happy.
The way that man trains, I think he'll be able to play longer than your average bear at the tackle position. Like, I think he's doing like a really dynamic level of just taking care of his body, and he loves the Lions. He's got to retire a Lion, okay? Dek's got to retire a Lion. Like, unless he decides to be like one of those guys that's like, I'm Iron Man, I'm going to go for like 10 more years. Okay, then we'll trade you away and go have fun around the league or something maybe. But like, I think in like 3 or 4 years he'll probably be ready to hang him up after a few Super Bowls, you know? And I just want him here, and I was worried we'd have to like either trade him or become a cap casualty in the coming years. So I love this move. Keep that core, baby. Dek's part of the core, part of the foundation of this team and culture. I love it.
But you know, he's like one of us in a way, because you know he's been through the bad years, and I want him to reap the rewards of you know his loyalty and his staying with the team, and like we are now as fans. You know, we're seeing this team actually come around to being something really great, and I'm just happy for him. He's going to be a part of that, so I'm sure he is too.
I could see him becoming like a Dave Deal type down the stretch of his career, like 3 Super Bowls in, now he's like our left guard and no longer a tackle, but like you just keep moving him around because he's so good, and he's just got that like spring in his step. He just stays good. I don't know. I had that thought though. If for anyone who doesn't know Dave Deal, he went to the best high school, Brother Rice, in Chicago, and
so that deal
was
puts
awesome.
Decker as the 13th highest paid left tackle, which is pretty good value, I'd say, considering the way he plays.
Fair.
The highest paid Christian Darrisaw for the Vikings after this offseason. So Darrisaw's pretty good. I wouldn't put him like head above shoulders above Decker by any means. And definitely not above. And Darrisaw's also getting paid more than Sewell. So, you know, that's also shocking as well to see that.
Yeah.
But
oh wait,
anyways,
Darrisaw passed Sewell? I thought wasn't Sewell the number 1 for a minute?
I guess
did it happen right after then?
Average, yeah. You know, I heard that on a podcast, the Athletic podcast. But now that I'm looking at it, Sewell 112 million overall, Darrisaw 104. But average guarantees is a little higher for Darrisaw.
I mean, that's a bigger contract though, 112. I mean, that makes Sewell the number 1.
Just slightly more guarantees for Darrisaw. Maybe that's why they said it that way.
I mean,
actually,
a lot of look at it.
Panay has a lot less guarantees than like Laramie Tunsil, Andrew Thomas, which is interesting. But I guess the point I was more getting to is that, especially after the Jordan Love contract, just the way the Lions have handled some of these big contract negotiations, it looks like they've handled it pretty well compared to how like Trevor Lawrence and Jordan Love has come in with their contracts. Goff looks like a pretty nice deal in comparison.
Well, I think we said that earlier
Look at
a few
our team.
pods ago. Where,
I'm talking about Amon-Ra, Panay, now you got Decker. Like, it just like the list goes on and on as we get more of these deals coming in, like Love and like Trevor Lawrence, Tua recently. No way Jared Goff should be paid less than Tua, but I
agree with that.
Just look at us compared to the league. Like we're like a smooth sailing ship on smooth waters. Everyone else is rock and rolling. The Niners got a bunch of stuff going on with contract issues with Ayuk and whatever is going on with him and stuff. And like, there's issues around the league that are just not our issues. Like the way Brad and Dan have set this up, the way they decided to pay our core guys, the way they built the culture and picked the right guys, like we look like we're just like settling into like the ultimate stability while everyone else is flailing in the wind. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, well, you kind of said it right there. They know who their core is, and they're paying their core guys. So these guys are going to be around for a while. You know, in the next year or two, we're probably going to see some, cuts that we're going to really not like.
They'll hurt.
But yeah, because you can't sign everybody.
They'll be hurtful
this year. We got McNeil coming up, Hutch in a year or two. I mean, there's some players that are going to be wanting to get paid, and But so we're going to see. But right now, we're beautiful right now. I mean, we're good for like 2-3 years right now, and it's awesome.
Definitely.
So I feel like the ones that are going to hurt us or that are going to get like the iffy like. Some of these guys that develop into like a star level that was almost unexpected. Like you're going to pay Hutch, Like
Yeah.
Aleem was kind of like following the proper course to get there. You know, he's gonna get paid eventually. But like Iffy just came out of freaking nowhere. Now like it's like, oh my god, like we got nothing for like 3 years, and then all of a sudden we
Laporta.
got a superstar.
Yeah,
Oh,
Laporta.
Laporta.
Yeah.
But like
J-Mo.
even then, like
Yeah.
J-Mo, that's a big one. Oh
goes
god,
on
you're
and
right.
The list goes on.
You're
and
not going to
on.
be able to pay everybody, unfortunately, at the end of the
gonna
day.
be hard.
Well,
But,
if Onwuzurike turns into be a superstar this year,
Onwuzurike?
hold
Pascal?
on. I hope Onwuzurike gives us a little discount because we nursed him to health for 3 years.
Right.
we
So,
segue right into my next segment, UJ.
All right.
Which is
I
the
love
people that
segues.
are looking
Right.
good in camp, the standouts right now
Yes.
that people are talking about. They can't talk about everybody, so they talk about the ones that are truly standing out. And Levi Onwuzurike, by all accounts, is one of those that a lot of people are talking about.
Yes.
Which is great to hear. Obviously,
100.
we want to see him succeed finally and be healthy. Let's hope that his back is healthy. But having him out there, like that just makes this middle of the defense even more deadly. Especially DJ Reader. I don't know what we're gonna get out of him, especially to start the year. But
And that's his body transformation. See, he didn't just like get healthy. Like he was like a sub 300-pound like guy his whole life. He's like 315 in better shape than he's ever been. Just muscle he slapped on there, man. This dude is looking
Yeah,
like
good
a
point.
brick shit house. Like that's like nose tackle territory. This man's gonna be able to do it all. He's a monster, and he has he has that nasty attitude too. Remember what he say when he came out the draft? Like I just want to like to kill people or like destroy people.
Something
It's
like that, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
something like you just love that just brute violence. You know it's great. I'm so excited for him. I think that kind of muscle. If you put that on, to me, that's like as good as like sitting that stuff in concrete. Like that goes a long way to preventing injuries.
well, and it's the way the Rams rather. I'm sorry, like Jonah Jackson looks like he's out for the rest of the training camp and early offseason.
Bicep.
Like, just heading into that first game, it looks like Levi Onwuzurike is probably going to be a starter if he keeps trending this direction because I don't think
Yeah.
Reader's.
Aleem and Levi.
Gonna be healthy.
Oh
But
my!
it's beautiful. You don't have to rush Reader, man.
No,
It's
we
a
just
long-
want him for the playoffs.
It's a long season. Halfway through the season, we start working him in. And by playoff time, it'll be awesome.
That might be my dream lineup, though. The last part has to like come to fruition, which is Hutch, Aleem, Pascal, and Pascal and Levi. All the first 2-round draft picks. Well, like what was Aleem like third, but still like all the
Third round,
D-line draft pick, the ones that Brad's drafted to build around. Like if they
Yeah.
all come to fruition, like dear God. like look out, and then like let Davenport be a rotational guy or something. Like oh my goodness,
It
Have
replaces
we heard
Brad-
much about Broderick Martin? I haven't
a
seen
little
too
bit,
much.
a little
about
bit.
him.
Campbell commented on Martin, as a matter of fact, saying that. Well, he's explaining techniques of a D tackle and squaring up and then
coordination basically.
and I don't know what he said, but he's like on some plays he's squaring up and he's not doing the other thing, and sometimes he's doing the other thing but he can't square up because he's like he's struggling still a little bit with technique and stuff. So
He's learning.
he's still a work in progress. They're trying to give him a lot of reps with the first and second team, but I think he's still a work in progress. So
It does
Not
sound like
sure.
his. Sorry.
no, I'm just not sure. I haven't got a real hard grasp on what they think of him at this moment. So.
Well, it sounds like he's
But-
moving a little more fluid from what I've sound like. His movements look better and stuff, but like from what Dan said, like he's just not putting it all together yet. It's still thinking and doing it piecemeal and not just feeling and learning the execution part yet. Which honestly, from what he looks like and what it sounds like still, like I think they're going to be so patient with him because he just sounds like if
Right.
he pays off, his upside is just so tantalizing.
Well, see, again, that goes to Brad being patient. Like they're playing the long game right now. So, like, get a guy like Onwuzurike. Yeah, he had an injury. Everyone knew about it in college, but they took a chance anyway. J-Mo, torn ACL, could have gone higher in the draft. We're going to take him anyway. We know he's not good for a year or so, but whatever. He's a great player. So, and these guys are willing to take a great player, knowing they'll recover from their injuries eventually. And it's paying off in the long run, down the road. I mean, And now it's all coming together with some of these guys.
Especially if Pascal and Levi. If those two hit, what has Brad missed on? If Pascal, Levi, and J-Mo hit, Brad will be the best drafter of all time. It'll be of all time.
Yeah.
There'll be no more impressive 4-year stretch of drafting. The man is just tore it up at every single freaking step. It's amazing. This roster's stacked. Oh my god, so freaking cool.
It's a lot of fun. And someone else that has stepped up now is someone that was briefly mentioned, but J-Mo. All accounts is that he is absolutely tearing up this camp. You Jay, you're on mute there.
Yeah.
Oh, but I know you just got to say something about it too. But J-Mo, if you look at him, just his smoothness, his breaks, at least from the highlights that have been shared, he's moving extremely well. He's tearing up. He's using that speed, to break down, come back on hitch routes, etc. I mean, with that speed, if you just fake going deep, they're gonna have to respect it, and that should be there every time, unless there's 2 people in a zone or something like that. But man to man, he should just be dominating, especially in his 3rd year. And he's catching the ball away from his body a lot more now. He looks a lot more comfortable.
He's more in sync
I'm
with
really
JG.
thrilled. I will definitely be trying to draft him in every fantasy draft I can. But
You know what I think of every time about his upside is that play last year where he caught that bubble screen on the sideline. The cornerback was broken down right in front of him. He had no room whatsoever between that cornerback, and he did this crazy million steps a second in his place, and then just shot by the cornerback along the sideline for 10 yards.
Right.
His ability to change direction and move in space, I think he's going to be he could be one of the best to do it. He has Randy Moss upside. He has everything you need. And he has all that glidey change of direction. He could pass Justin Jefferson. I think he's got that in him.
He's got a ways to go there, Ruddog.
No, he's got.
You are so optimistic.
He has the upside. Look, it's upside, right?
It's that training camp optimism.
The only thing that he struggles with slightly, I
Why
think,
not?
is he doesn't have those soft hands that some of the great receivers have. But it's a minor thing. But he could be a terror.
I don't know. He started off the season rough last year, but he caught a lot in traffic. The one against Tampa on the back shoulder. I'm trying to think of the game where I think it was Denver.
He shows
a catch away from his body, getting hit on his
legs. The Super Bowl
touchdown
touchdown pass. He caught way up in the air above his head while he's getting tackled in the back of the end zone against the Niners. Not Super Bowl, sorry, NFC Championship against the Niners.
He froze.
The touchdown.
He have a little glitch there with Ruddog. That's right.
Anyway,
I'm just thinking Super Bowl. I guess I got Super Bowl on the brain. But I'm just saying he does show the skill to do it. Consistency, obviously, he's building. But I'm just saying this dude, if he's anything like the Madden campaign I played, he's gonna just freaking destroy the NFL this year.
About your Madden campaign, I don't think.
Well, here's the other thing about J-Mo. One other thing about J-Mo is that he's such a willing blocker. And he's made some – last year he made some great blocks. I mean, he as a wide receiver, a skinny little dude, he's a good blocker, man. So
he's got that dog in him.
He's a complete receiver.
And a lot of those catches going to Reynolds last year, probably going to go J-Mo's way. So this offense is being tailored around him and Amon-Ra. This is definitely the year where the Lions will be starting to feed J-Mo a lot more than they have tried to in the past.
I think he's going to be the kind of guy who just gets yards because it's oh God, well he just broke that coverage so wide open I can't help but just throw this easy touchdown. I just think he's gonna but then again, Amon-Ra's looking like that. If you catch some of the little highlights you get out of camp from the video, you see Amon-Ra just flaming dudes,
especially against Terrion Arnold. He's putting him in his put him in his place a little bit in some of those highlights I've seen.
Our second the battle, man. That secondary versus our receivers is such an awesome exciting part of camp right now.
Well, that leads me to another guy that has stood out, especially since they put on the pads. Is Ennis Rakestraw.
Ennis
Rakestraw. From our second round rookie cornerback.
Oh my God.
He was looking like up and down, but without pads, not the same. When you put the pads on, he's a lot more physical, especially when it comes to punching out the ball after once it hits the receiver's hands. He's just a physical guy. That was kind of what they were saying about him, and he's shown it in camp. Maybe it's going to lead to some penalties early on in his career with the technique that some of these, especially better wide receivers, use. But there's no doubt about it. He's got the talent to keep up. I think that's
awesome.
what's the most important thing to see in camp right here.
It's so freaking exciting. That's our second round draft pick, and we picked another one in the first round. It's like those dudes are both showing out. I mean, I know they're both getting beat, or he's getting beat, like Terrion, like you said, but who he's going against. Like, Amon-Ra beats anybody. That's the perfect way to learn. Oh, my gosh. Mark my words. The most painful cut from this camp is going to come from our secondary, which is kind of funny because last year it was like we couldn't even keep, enough starters on the roster.
Yeah. Well, they had an interview with Meek Robinson, which I thought was really interesting.
He's awesome.
The attitude that these guys have is it's so almost cocky, arrogant, badass. But it's permeated the locker room now. And he's even commented on Rakestraw and Arnold and what these guys are doing. And he says, the competition is just fierce in that room. I mean, the talent. How can you go from 1 year of just barely having enough talent to field a secondary, and now we seem to be just dripping with talent. It's just remarkable.
It's when preparation meets opportunity, UJ. The Lions are the ultimate. They reap their own luck because they prepare so thoroughly. Look at what they did to get Carlton Davis and Amik Robertson, and then they go into the draft, and we get an actual shot at Terrion Arnold, who was supposed to go in the top 15 worst case almost. We get a shot at him, and then Rakestraw falls to us in the second, and it's they set themselves up for this to be exactly what they need, which was address their biggest issue, secondary, and they've just thrown so much talent in there now. If we're bad in the secondary, that would be
young.
That would be surprising.
Young talent.
Well, young and veteran. Davis has got a Super Bowl under his belt. And then Robertson is he's in a perfect stage of his career where he's really just figured things out, and he's awesome.
He thinks he's 6'2" or something.
I know.
He really does.
Sometimes
he thinks
looks
he is.
like it the way he plays. Jeez.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh! He's making me wonder what's going to happen because so how are you going to keep him, Branch, and all these guys on the field, and Iffy and Kirby and
Yeah, well like Robertson was saying a couple days ago, he read in Twitter where there hasn't been a single pick in Lions camp, and they took it to heart. The next day, the secondary came in and got 3 picks against their offense. So,
that just brings up another guy, Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
What the heck? I'm telling you, this cornerback room is going to be a tough cut because even Vildor's not a really bad cornerback. I know everyone hates him because of last year in that damn game, but
it's hard easy to get the image out of your head of that.
I know it's easy to forget. He was in perfect position though to defend the pass. It was only a freaky luck that Ayuk had any chance at that ball. But I'm just saying that was good coverage. And obviously they liked enough to bring him back. But someone's going to get cut from that room that you're just probably a couple someone's. There's just so much talent.
Well, I mean, there's one battle going on: Emmanuel Mosley versus Amik Robertson.
Emmanuel Mosley. My God.
They're going back and forth at it a little bit. Who maybe for that second or the nickelback spot. Right now they have Meek listed at nickelback. Brian Branch listed at strong safety. Emmanuel Mosley listed. Well, he's kind of all over.
The thing is with guys like Emmanuel Mosley and Amik, there might be battling for the nickel, but I'll tell you what, if Carlton or Terrion start to show they're struggling on the outside, both of those guys are capable perimeter defenders that you could put man on man and go lock down a receiver. So it's that's not it's the same O-line. You play your best 5 on an O-line. It's the same thing in secondary. This secondary is a much more open battle. I mean, obviously there's some idea, but there's just too much talent to just dismiss anything. Emmanuel Mosley was like a proven number 1 only not long ago. I know he's got to overcome his knee stuff, but like he's back and way earlier than I think I expected. And I think a lot of people were surprised how early in camp he was active and competing. And like, there's just so much.
So he's battling for a roster spot.
Yeah,
so
he's got no more ACLs to tear either. So
yeah, but you know his upside is starter. Is my point. You have a bunch of starting caliber talent. And so really when you have that much talent, they're all in competition for the starting roles. And whoever rises to the top will be the starters. I mean, granted, because based on talent profiles, like Terrion and Carlton fit that prime perimeter guy. They got the length and all that. But if they're struggling, you'll see it won't be long before Ennis or Amik or any of those guys start taking reps on the outside to show, see if they can do it instead.
Yeah, it's going to be fun when we get to our predictions and see who we think the starters are all going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
So fun.
Another standout that you guys wanted to mention, we'll hop over to the wide receiver side, is Darius Fountain.
Yes.
Wide receiver, who at least today was getting the third most reps at the wide receiver behind J-Mo and Amon-Ra, which is interesting.
He's been pretty much getting notes since day one of like activities. He's been just showing up every time he gets a chance. It sounds like this guy.
That's what it sounds like. It's hard to say when we're not there watching it all. Going by some of these. But yeah, his name just keeps popping up.
Yeah, he's this is not a rookie. This is the fourth-year guy. He's 28 years old, out of Northern Iowa, 6'2", 210. Probably
nice size.
I mean, the Lions are looking for that third wide receiver.
Fourth.
Josh, or yes. I guess
put respect on the name of Khalif Raymond. Okay.
Do you think Khalif Raymond's a third wide receiver, like
He's
the Josh
third wide receiver
type
on
role?
this team? Here's the thing: Khalif Raymond is his own weapon to this offense. He has so much going for him. He is the third target in the receiving room. As far as like traditional roles and stuff, I think Jameson is stepping into the X. That just makes too much sense. You replace Reynolds, you're the number 1 on this offense in like technicality, in like traditional terms. Obviously that's Amon-Ra, but you're gonna move him all around. And like it's Amon-Ra, it's J-Mo, and then it's Khalif in the receiver room, because you probably put Laporta up there way above Khalif, or maybe even Gibbs. Like, it's all so fluid, but that man is in the game plan day one already, whereas like Donovan Peoples-Jones or Fountain, all those guys are still trying to earn even on this team. So, no, Khalif is number 3 in the receiver room. I don't doubt that for a second. But Fountain, man, like, the exciting thing about a guy like that is, like, you think of, like, James Harrison or something, a guy who's bounced around the league and is just going from team to team, but he's picking stuff up and he's learning, and suddenly he puts it all together, and maybe you got a guy who's a seasoned pro now who learned from trials in the league, and, like, maybe you got a stud. Like, I'm excited. Like, obviously, 6'2", 210, like, he's got some nice metrics. Like, and we don't have a lot of size in the receiver room, so I like it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Khalif Raymond so much, because he credits Khalif Raymond with helping him stay in the NFL, basically. Like, he said he was at a low point, didn't want to play anymore, and Khalif Raymond encouraged him to stick with it.
I love Leaf,
there.
Man.
So
fucking Leaf. That dude's awesome.
He just seems like one of those great teammates, That's just,
it really sucked to not see him in the playoffs last year.
I know. I felt so bad.
It really sucked. We could have used him probably too.
So much.
Never know. That could have been the difference.
Him and J-Mo are are gonna tear up the deep part of defenses this year. There's just we have too much speed between those two. Oh my gosh. Sorry, man.
I mean, you can't forget about Antoine Green, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Those guys are there at the edge, too. I'm not sure if you guys have heard anything about who maybe is stepping up between those two.
Did you see that catch? I think it was – where did I see it? It was one of the shorts, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, it don't matter. But it was the defender in coverage on Antoine Green to the perimeter and makes a really good break, but then Green – stays in control and catches a fingertip pass along the sideline.
I think I do know what you're talking about.
It was pretty dope. Great control and focus to stay in the play. Kind of exactly like Ayuk. just stay alive and the ball's in the air. You don't make the play. Like, I was like, oh, hey, man, that's some pretty good stuff. That ain't just, like I run and catch ball. That's some high-end talent stuff right there.
Yeah.
Because I am excited to see what he can do. Because I would love him to, like, you know me, I am partial to draft picks. Like, I want to see our homegrown boys, like, be our core, be the guys that step up and become something. Like, like, obviously if you trade for someone and they become great, you love them. But it's cool when you develop your own talent.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's one of the reasons we're so good right now. Is there anybody else that you guys...
there was two more you guys wanted to list. Marcus Davenport.
Yes.
If you wanted to talk about him briefly, UJ, that was the guy you wanted to list.
Briefly, because when they picked up Davenport, I thought it was just another retread kind of pick, maybe it's a prove-it deal and all that stuff. But when I looked at his films when he was healthy, that guy was a monster. And if he's healthy,
is the keyword there, right?
Well, right, exactly. But by all indications, right now he is healthy, and he's tearing it up in camp right now, and everyone's noticing it. I mean, McNeil's talking about him, and a couple other people are commenting. If this guy is on his game, oh man, he's going to be a great benefit to this team. That's all I can say about it.
You're not wrong about that, UJ. The only thing that's like with him is like it's like okay, at this stage it's all good, but like when the only issue is will he be able to be doing any of this stuff when it matters? Like, it's like as long as he's there, he'll be doing this. So it's like
we don't know.
At this stage, it's like this is the stuff where it's like, okay, this is great. Just stay healthy, be there when the season's going.
Right,
like be that guy in a month or two.
Don't play him in a preseason game.
Right.
Who's the guy we had last 2 years? That DN that we resurrected his career.
Romeo.
I'm forgetting his name right now. And
Charles Harris.
Charles Harris, thank you.
Charles Harris, the man that died at game 2 a season or two ago.
Well, he came out. We resurrected his career. He gets 7 or 8 sacks, gets a new contract, and then just turns into nothing. It's terrible. So hopefully it won't be one of those kind of deals. I think Davenport's better than that, but we'll see.
Well, the upside, definitely with Davenport is there, but healthy. That's really what it comes down to. Generally what we're gonna get out of him if he's healthy.
Well, that's why I'm hoping Pascal at least develops to the guy we think he can be. Those two together should be able to get the job done for sure.
Well, there's a good segue. Hey, Zach, talking about segues.
Yeah,
Pascal,
players.
Ruddog has been so high in Pascal, and I've been high in Pascal too, and I still am. But he's kind of not been repping with the first team a lot. He's been more repping with the second team and stuff, and Davenport and guys like that are getting more ahead of him. So is there cause for concern here, Ruddog? That's my question to you.
Camp rotations are like pretty generally meaningless unless you're like a locked-in guy and it's just obvious. Like, they rotate the shit out of everybody. Like, they want all different levels of competition against different layers. Like, so right now it's just probably Davenport's time getting run with the ones, and then you'll see Pascal go. And I think even Pascal was with the ones in like the earlier activities. So like, no, I don't put much stock into like. There are people that try to play that shell game and try to track where the P is, under which cup or whatever. But like,
what are you talking about?
I don't know.
What
the cup game.
Peas under a cup.
You put the P under the cup, and you have 3 cups, and then you try to see which one it's in at the end, or shells you can do it with.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Ruddog. Like, zero.
Oh my god! No, like, think about it. Like the baseball, like at baseball games, you see like they do with red Solo cups, and they're like, which cup is under, and you gotta like,
what
they put
they
put
the
ball
is the baseball
under the
under?
cup, and they
the
baseball cap. Yeah, that's what it is. But like, that's a classic. It's a sleight of hand game as old as time. Like the P under the cup.
I guess for you,
the pebbles, the whatever, the rock. It's a sleight.
In college for you?
The idea is to see if you can track it, but then, like, street swindlers are quick and they manage to trick you.
Okay. Anyway,
the point is, some people try to play that, like, shell game and keep track of all that throughout the off season, and And really, when it doesn't really matter. It all comes to fruition later as these guys put in a whole camp and actually do some consistent work. Like these coaches aren't like fluctuating.
I'm just thinking of this random pee in a cup game. I don't get it. Never heard that about it in my life.
Like a pea, like a little like green.
Oh my god.
Pea in a pod.
That is not.
Vegetable.
Pee. Oh my God.
I thought you were talking about piss. That's why I was even more confused.
Oh my God.
Z, that's funny.
Too much.
Oh my god.
Anyways, Pascal. Yeah. Okay.
The point is, no, I'm not worried about him repping with the twos right now. There's still plenty of camp left for both those guys to prove themselves. And you know what? If he starts the season behind a guy like Davenport, that's not the worst thing either. So, Davenport's a monster. So
right.
I hope he's healthy.
Well, there you go.
Oh, that was a really fun segue, UJ.
Well, I had DJ Reed on here. We alluded to him already. I did want to bring up one of our rookies. Are you concerned that Mahogany, our late-round offensive lineman, has yet to show up because of an illness? Christian Mahogany, of course, from Boston College. Are you concerned at all about him making the roster if he's not there?
I don't think there's a concern about him making the roster, but there is this. It's just weird how secretive they are. They won't say what it is or what his illness is. But Campbell had to come out and say it is real. Like, we're not faking it, Like, okay, it's real, but what is it? I mean, what keeps a guy out for this long? Is it COVID? Is it? Who knows what it is? It's a little concerning. We just don't know. So
yeah,
that's the only.
I don't think they're worried about him as a player right now, but he is behind now. He's getting behind the eight ball a little bit here, missing a lot of practices.
If he misses like another week, he'll probably be like start even with Manu finally, like when he gets on the field. Since Manu's that underdeveloped.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about Manu.
I still think he has a better chance of beating Manu as like a backup to this actual line this year, just based on his college film alone. Like, obviously, he's going to have his catch-up time and figure out the league a bit, but I think he's still that good. He looks that good to me. I don't think it's going to take him long to catch up.
I think his thing is right now just NFL strength. He doesn't have that same strength like a lot of some of these other players do. He has the size and everything, but he really doesn't have that. This is what I read, but from one person's, I can't remember who it was, but he said he's a little lacking in that area right now at the moment.
Manu?
But,
well, how do we know? He's not even practicing.
Well, I know
Wait, you're talking about
Manu
or Mahogany?
Manu.
Oh, I was talking about Mahogany. Okay, you're talking about
I
Manu.
thought we were talking about Manu.
No, I brought up Manu just saying that Mahogany, if he only misses like another week, he'll probably be on Manu's level because Manu's that underdeveloped that the 2 weeks aren't probably going to put him much ahead of Mahogany. Because Mahogany looked really damn good in his film. Like, that guy's got, I think, a huge edge in terms of, like, I don't think it's going to take him a lot to step up to the pro level. I think he's got the right athletic profile for it.
Yeah, that's why I'm not worried about him as far as the roster goes. It's just getting him back.
Well, yeah, if it's something weird that keeps him out for a long time, then it's a problem.
Right. Someone else I had my concerns a little bit is Hendon Hooker. UJ, you mentioned those picks coming from Ennis and the team responding. I think all three were thrown by Hendon Hooker.
No, one was Goff.
At least two were Hooker.
Two were Hooker.
Two Hooker, one
So,
Goff.
but either way, he has not looked great in camp. And some of those throws are like it should be high into the outside. He's still throwing it like more like in from the sideline. It still looks like he has a lot longer way to go than maybe we'd hope at this point.
I think the only people who should be concerned are the people who thought like he should just step in and like supplant Goff without like proving shit, like thinking, oh, because he can run a little bit, like he's just gonna be instantly better than Jared Goff. Like there were a lot of people who really thought he just needed to be given the reins, and I think those people should go.
Well, that's crazy.
Take a gut check
Right.
with that, but like no, this is what he needed. This is rookie season effectively. This is what he needed was reps and time in practice and getting, the system under his belt.
Right.
So, no, I'm not concerned right now. The upside's still so obvious. The character's there. This is just early growing pains, and it's still camp.
It's his first camp, too. I mean, he was injured all last year. But I'm getting this weird impression from everything I'm reading that I think they really want him to be the number 2 quarterback, not Sudfeld.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right now,
Yeah.
Well, sure, it does. But I'm getting the impression that it's definitely going that direction. Even though Sudfeld maybe is outperforming a little in practice right now, he's still young and he's going to learn.
Yeah.
He's going to learn.
Remember you, Jay? It's when you said it was like the battle to watch, and I said Hendon Hooker's just going to be kind of like it's his development to watch, because that battle is a faux battle. Like it's meant to be the dummy he beats up on his way to gain confidence. Like Sudfeld should not be our backup quarterback. Like realistically, like even if Hendon Hooker doesn't develop, you're probably looking for another guy to put behind Jared Goff, because Nate Sudfeld should not be our backup quarterback. Like if he's forced to play in games, we're probably thinking, wow, we're a little bit in trouble.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun in preseason because Hooker's probably going to get a lot of reps, so it's going to be fun watching him. And when he's in an actual game situation, and we were talking about those picks in practice too. They said a lot of those picks probably would not have been picks because they would probably have been sacks in real life.
Yeah, that's
but they let the quarterback. They let the quarterback go on and finish the throw.
Right.
But I'm this part of preseason. I probably. Out of all the positions, I'm more interested in seeing how Hendon Hooker does in the preseason and to see what we have as a backup there, because he is a dynamic player, was in college, and he's got a really great arm. I mean, he's got a great arm. It's just his accuracy, and but maybe just getting in a game situation will really just, sometimes your practice is one thing, but you get in a game situation, you're just going with the flow and you're playing against an opponent. It's different.
Practice is the time to hammer down and perfect fundamentals. Like if he does that, he learns the system in and out, like to Jared Goff's level, and gets on that level, then all those other extra talents he has, like his running and stuff, will be able to shine as he can break the system at the right time to make a play. But he's got to learn to be a pocket passing quarterback first in the NFL. And
yes.
Yeah, there's going to be some growing pains. Anyone who thought he was just going to step into the league and know everything, it just wasn't going to happen. That's
right.
I mean, and also remember, this is day 7 of camp. Like by the end of camp, he'll be a almost completely different player, especially by the end of the preseason. He just got to get his timing, his playbook down, and just start to learn the coverages and stuff. Like he could be ready to do stuff by the season. It's not. I think his time frame looks fine. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned right now. Like you said, he missed pretty much the entire last year. This is effectively his rookie season, and I don't know if I get the vibes that they want him to be the backup UJ. Really? Ideally they would like to, but because of those reasons, I think they don't expect him to be the number two necessarily.
What?
I think and especially in this league, they carry 3 quarterbacks now with the emergency. I don't necessarily see Nate Sudfeld losing his spot unless somebody gets dropped from another team that the Lions believe could fill that role better. But
I think Nate Sudfeld's consistency and what he's doing in camp right now is not going to be as valuable as the upside of Hendon Hooker. I think they're going to give Hendon Hooker more opportunities to grow and overcome whatever growing pains he needs to, because his upside is so obviously more immense than Nate Sudfeld.
I know, but this is a roster that's ready to go compete for a Super Bowl. Now, if you're in the playoff game and Goff goes down for whatever reason, I feel a little more confident with Nate Sudfeld out there than Hendon Hooker.
I mean, if it was today, but you realize Hendon Hooker is going to get a lot more practice under his belt in just the next month alone.
But
he's going to be a whole different player.
During the regular season, you're not getting a lot of reps.
Hooker needs to show it. I'm not denying that, but here's the thing. game manager, right? This term that is somehow erroneously come somewhat in the realm of Jared Goff's description because it's a bullshit description. Jared Goff is not a game manager. He's a high-end pocket passer. A game manager was a term designed for backup quarterbacks who can come in and not do anything spectacular, but generally not throw interceptions. Like, if there's a wide-open receiver on a slant route, they're going to hit him. Or otherwise they're going to throw it away. Or, they can hand off the ball, execute. They'll manage the game. As long as you got a roster around them, maybe that'll even look good because the receiver will run with the ball after the catch. But that's like what a game manager. That's what Sudfeld is. Sudfeld is a game manager. He's got the consistency.
Perfect.
And it looks good in camp. But
I mean, Sudfeld's been around this offense for a little while. He's been in the NFL longer. That's why I trust him more if Goff goes down and it's a playoff
right
game.
Now, today, I agree.
I think I agree.
But
in 16
I
weeks.
think in a month it's going to be a whole different story. I think Hooker's going to look much more crisp, and that's what he's got to do. Though he's got to pick it up. He's got to show what he can. I'm not just giving it to him, but I think the talent profile obviously suggests that he should step into that role. Like, it's so obvious, right? Like, you drafted him where you did for a reason. He's meant for that role.
Right.
That's what he's supposed to do. That's what they want him to do. They're going to give him every opportunity to do just that, and I think he has the character that's going to make sure he actually comes through on it. But, it's the NFL. It's a son of a bitch. He might suck. You never know. We just got to find out. But I still think he's going to be – I think it's pretty much they expect him to take that job. They're not going to give it to him, but they expect him to take it. That's the
right. I personally don't think it'll be this year. That's my
really
guess.
For backup. I
correct.
Wholeheartedly.
The Lions have to ask
And if
themselves:
he
are they
doesn't,
ready
they're
to
gonna
turn the
add
offense
somebody.
over to him to win a Super Bowl? I would.
Yeah, but I don't think
not.
they're going to want to hand it to Nate Sudfeld either. Like, just like last year, I think they would add someone like Teddy if they didn't think that.
I'll call him out from retirement. You mean?
I'm saying someone of that caliber would be added to this roster if they didn't think Hooker was going to step into that role. That's what I'm saying. I think Hooker is expected to take that role. They really love what Sudfeld brings to the room. And in like a third string situation, he'd be a really good third string. That's exactly what Nate Sudfeld is.
What do you think,
he's
UJ?
like some guy.
Well, like I said, I think it's just my gut. You think not till maybe next year, but he's like what I was saying. The upside is too high, and when he gets out on the field, he'll be able to make plays with his legs, and he can, once he gets his footing under him, gets his confidence up, get hit a couple times. I think you're going to see that the player come out, the guy who played in Tennessee. So that's my personal opinion. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be an interesting battle in camp. That's all I can say. That's why I'm excited to watch it in the preseason.
Think of it this way, Z. Think about how Jared Goff and J-Mo last year weren't very synced up. Like they connected a few times, but they didn't look like. Did they look like they were in sync? Because I would say no. Like that took a while, but look at this camp. You already see Jared Goff dropping dimes into his window so he can just run with the catch and stuff. Like that time in matters, and that's what Hooker needs right now. He just needs that time in and doing it and executing, and he'll learn the timing with these receivers. And if he's not better by the end of the camp, I'll be shocked.
The Lions are 10-3. Goff goes down. They call Tom Brady to take over the offense.
Tom Brady.
You know what?
You don't think he would try if a team is ready to win the Super Bowl?
You know what though? Brady would be great in our offense.
I think
he'd
would.
Be excellent.
He'd have time to throw, man. He'd be great.
He'd have freaking Laporta. You know what he does with tight ends. Oh my God! Actually, think about it. He'd have a burner like Moss. He'd have everything, man. We have everything. This offense is awesome.
That would be a hell of a story, wouldn't it?
That'd be
I
something.
think Jared Goff's going to be.
That, obviously.
No,
Jared Goff's going to be in the conversation with Brady by the end of his career. You watch, you're going to see what happens.
I love your optimism today, Ruddog. You were just beaming in optimism.
He's been playing that
Hey,
imaginary
physically,
17-0 season.
Physically, Jared Goff is just as talented, if not more, than Brady. It's the mental side of the game.
Right.
The mind melding of him and Ben Johnson, I think, is going to not only set him up to tear apart the league together, but when Ben Johnson moves on and Dan and him find their next guy to work with, they're going to continue to develop this just like Brady and Belichick did forever and just be destructors of the league. They're going to dominate. Like, he has every single thing you need. That's what Goff is. He's our franchise quarterback. We signed him to a long-term contract because he's an elite pocket passing quarterback. And that's what Tom Brady was.
He's a happily married man now this year, so
yeah,
he's got that going for him.
There's a lot of marriages going on this year, right?
Panay, right? Too
and
Panay,
and Goff, and
awesome.
it's like the whole family thing going on at the Lions. It's
family
crazy.
organization.
Yeah,
through and through. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for us here.
Good
we had a
idea.
lot to talk about
I
on
can go
this
for a
episode.
couple more hours if you guys want.
We could.
I can't.
But this is this has been great. We're deep in the heart of training camp right now. A week away. Actually, what is the Hall of Fame game?
A week away.
The Bears are playing.
I mean, technically, football is. Get ready to hear the phrase "football is back" starting tomorrow.
So is that the first preseason game tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. I'm looking up right now. If my computer will pick up the pace, but yeah, they're playing.
Did you guys see that video of the Lions running backs doing the drill where they chop their feet through the ropes?
Yeah.
Like, did
Monty?
you watch that? Well, all of them. It started with Vaki, and then it was Gibbs, and then it was Monty, and like it was so cool because like you watch Vaki, and he's fast, but it's like kind of sloppy, and then like he's hitting the ropes and stuff, and then you watch Gibbs, and it's a lot smoother, and he doesn't hit any of the ropes, and then you watch Monty, and like it's even faster and smoother, and you just see that quality of training and talent. It's just like, oh my god, these dudes are gonna be ridiculous. Like, Monty is such a stud. Like, I think he's the most slept-on running back in the league. Like
yeah, definitely underrated.
Because even now, Gibbs is getting all the off-season boost and hype, which fairly, the dude looks like he's gonna tear everything apart. But like so is Monty.
What an offense! What an offense!
Yeah, no kidding.
What a lot of toys for Goff to play with. And yes, the opening game is tomorrow, the Hall of Fame game. The Bears and the Texans. So you get a little maybe taste of Caleb Williams tomorrow. See what he's all about. Which I've heard he's heading up and down.
Which color nail polish is he wearing tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know.
For opening day.
I don't know. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it up here. Talking about the first week of training camp. It's been a blast. We will be back next week talking about more what we've heard from training camp, in addition to maybe previewing the first preseason game. It's right around the corner, folks.
Oh, my gosh.
It's getting,
Super Bowl!
It's the best time of the year, right? Best time of the year. So anyways, we want to thank our producer, Kid J, for doing an absolutely incredible job producing this podcast week in and week out.
He's the best.
Yeah.
And week on top sometimes, too.
Yeah. He is incredible. So thank you, Kid J, our producer. Thank you to SidelineReport.com for supporting the podcast. Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Please download, please subscribe, please leave a review. Greatly appreciate that. Twitter/X at Drinking Lions. Follow us on there. Instagram at Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid, all lowercase. Follow us on there as well. And reach out if you have any questions you want us to go over, your thoughts on the, what you've heard from training camp this upcoming season. I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, thank you, UJ. Thank you, Ruddog. Thank you, listeners.
Thank you, Big Z.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Big Z.
Thank you for listening and sharing this time with us. We really appreciate it. And last but not least, as always, go!